Hey team, welcome back to the channel, man. As always, I'm stoked to see you sitting here with Jason with On3. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel and everything he's got going on, which is far superior than what's happening here.
That is true.
Regardless of what they will tell you elsewhere. But we're going to talk about thermal, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below about, is it an asset? Is it a liability? How dangerous is thermal? Whether it's drones, handheld, all the hoo-yah stuff, and we will keep this conversation rolling.
Okay.
Jason, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, my good friend?
Fantastic.
Splendid. Woke up to no water, so that's awesome.
Awfully lame.
Yes, that's so lame.
That is lame.
Hey, so what's your experience with thermal optics?
So I don't have a ton of experience, just right out the gate right there, but I do have some. And, you know, I had the same kind of thoughts that a lot of people have, like that you think that thermal is like this magical thing that you can't hide from. Like it's impossible. And that's just not true.
It's 3D. You can see through all of it.
You just like X-ray vision. You're looking through the
Superman.
trees. Yeah, it's not true. Very recently, just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I guess it was, did some training exercises with a bunch of guys, and the Op 4, the opposing force, had thermals looking for us. Never saw us.
Right.
And there was 30 of us in the woods creeping up on them.
Yeah.
And the only reason they didn't see us is because we were using cover and concealment, just like you would normally.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's not like we had this huge, like, super dense foliage in the Pacific Northwest where you could only see 3 feet. It wasn't like that. I mean, we could see them, but there was branches and sticks and underbrush and stuff like that in the way between us and them, and they never saw us.
So I've got a little bit of experience with some drones. I had some thermal stuff, and I got some handheld binoculars. And my experience is very similar. Like, if there is any layer, it's like if you take an old digital camera that has no pixels, right? The old flip phone taking a photo, and it sucks. The resolution is just not good. And you compare that to a newer phone or camera, and you have these huge amount of pixels and just this great detail. It's kind of similar to that with thermal. Like anything that's breaking up the pixels, then the camera just can't recognize. It may recognize a little bit of heat, but you can't see a silhouette.
Yeah, and when you're looking through thermal, there's a lot of things that are warm.
Right.
Like it just depends on the time of day and where the sun was shining. Like, yeah, it's not magic.
Yeah. So anything that breaks you up, and I mean, it could be broken up completely. For example, I mean, this, you know, a building, a road. I'm not a road. That'd be silly unless you're digging. A blanket, right?
Anything, like anything held up in front of you between the thermal unit that they're using and you will cover you up. Now, there's some things that you can't do that might be obvious, like, I don't know, if you held up that square thing in front of you, like you'd see
a silhouette.
Yeah, you'd see this like square, unreal, like unnatural
goes back to
thing.
Basic camouflage and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, open prairies, plains, fields,
nah, you're in trouble.
You're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and if you're not using cover and concealment like you should, because let's say it's dark and you think, oh, they can't see me because it's dark. I can't see them. They can't see me. Now that's not true. Like, you'll get spotted from a long ways away if you're just out in the open.
I think some of the more inexpensive binoculars. I think I got one here.
Oh, she's back.
This is a top-down, right? It's a pretty typical Chinese thermal stuff. I think they go for like 300 or whatever. I get another one. It's more expensive. It's like 1,000. And then you know, good stuff for rifles. It goes up from there.
Yeah.
I don't know that value added. It's even something that I would really consider investing a lot in before I had a lot of other things taken care of.
All the other stuff. Yeah. And then you got extra money to blow.
Right. Now, maybe if you wanted to do some hog hunting.
Sure.
From a helicopter. Like, that'd be fun.
Sure. Now, let's say post-apocalyptic zombie warfare.
Yeah.
The aliens have come down.
Yes.
And the end of the
Looking
world is
forward to
upon
this
us.
moment.
Yes. And then, you know, you've got people on watch 24/7. You know, somebody out there just taking a look around with that. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
But generally speaking, real world stuff.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, and even like with that, like at my place, very limited use.
Visibility, yeah.
Yeah. Yours has a little bit more of a field of view.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, depending on the application where you're at, I don't know. I'm not sold, and I know
it's one more thing to fail too.
Well, it is one more thing to fail.
Batteries and I hate batteries. Yeah.
Batteries.
Everything with batteries, I'm very opposed to. Just in general. Well, I mean, there's some things, obviously, like flashlights and stuff like that.
Flashlights are cool.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's something that's just pretty. It's a given. But everything else, everything with batteries, it just seems like it's always dead when you need it to not be. Like it's the problems.
On that note, like totally separate subject, kind of like solar powered or battery powered generators or whatever, you know, seems great.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one I've had for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it can't keep like a 30% charge.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like it sucks.
I've got one that I've had for 2 or 3 years now, and it's still doing fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Not so much for me.
Yours sucks.
But it's batteries. Right?
Yeah, batteries.
Like you just don't know.
They don't last forever.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. Now, you know, when I was deployed, it's a different story. You know, all the shadows and everything that was flying, all the drones flying.
Oh, yeah.
The thing with that is, you know, you can hear a drone.
Mm-hmm.
They sound like
angry
lawnmowers.
bumblebees.
Yeah. And a lawnmower taking off. Like it. Now, more commercial drones, more private drones, like the one that I have, and the ones that I've used. You know, you're gonna hear it because the resolution sucks so bad, and you can't zoom in. Mm-hmm. That you have to fly them fairly low in order to see something.
Yeah.
Military style drones, I mean, they can fly pretty high.
Yeah, you won't hear them.
Yeah, after they've taken off, you're not going to hear them.
Right.
But, and they were effective to a certain degree, but is that really the threat I need to be concerned about most? And go down in that rabbit hole?
Yeah, they used drones on us in that training exercise that we were doing. And they were a pain. When you were going up against somebody with a drone, it's really aggravating and a pain because you basically get pinned down. So if the drone is flying and you hear it coming, unless it's super, super high, you'll hear it, unless you're making a lot of noise or just the environment's really noisy. And you hear that, and basically you gotta scatter, disperse, get under some cover, get under a tree, and then just sit there.
Right.
And they won't see you as long as you're not moving around out in the open. Just like we're talking about thermal, if you're not out in the open, they're not going to see you. But you can't go anywhere. You can't move because it's still up there.
And you need to assume that their operator is looking at your direction, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether they're using, regular vision, freaking thermal, whatever. Yeah. The ranges. I mean, you need to assume that somebody's looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
But like on that, like you're in a specific training environment in this one, and obviously, when I was deployed, like there were specific missions and bad guys that dudes were going after. But when it comes to, the ordinary life of, is somebody watching me? If the answer is no, then you probably have a lot more freedom of maneuver to not be worried about a drone flying overhead, following you. Things change, and maybe things change, and you need to go back to thinking about all of your basic camouflage and concealment and tactics that we can use to stuff like that. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are.
There's a lot of gates you'd have to go through to get to where that is a reality.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it's on everybody's mind because of what's going on in Ukraine and all that kind of stuff, and they're using drones to, mess people up. Yeah. And I get it. Yeah, that's a real threat there, but that's currently not the state of things here. Could it be? Sure. Sure, potentially. Yeah. But it's not yet. So, I think what you said, I would be investing, before I invest in thermals and all that kind of stuff, I would make sure that I have running water
Right.
in my house. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. And a lot of people don't even know the answer to that.
Right.
You know, if the water stops flowing, it's always flowed.
Right.
What happens if it stops flowing one day? And a lot of people don't have answers to that. And that's priority.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Can't do much without water. You can do a lot without thermal.
Yes.
Team, looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below, man. Jason, I appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking some time to jib jab.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you bringing your goodness to my channel. It makes me stoked. Leave some comments down below, y'all. We'll catch you on the flip side. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Maggie was a
Maggie's
feature
such a good dog.
of the show. Yeah, she's made sure she was here the whole time. She does this every time. Every time I start filming, she usually jumps on the table and gets all up in it. Don't you, girl? Don't you, girl? That's a good dog.
Yeah.
You got time for one?
You betcha.
All right. No requirement, but if you want to. I had to put on an extra layer, so I looked almost as buff.
Right.
Almost as buff as you.
Almost as buff. I'm buff. I got the stuff.
Think we got enough light?
Yeah, should be good.
Should be good enough.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely good enough.
It's romantic light.
It is romantic.
That's what it is.
Cupid music.
Yeah.
I've been trying hard, baby.
I've been really trying, baby. Oh. Hello.
Now you're gonna come up.
Oh, hello. Every time.
Every time. Hey team, welcome back to the channel, man. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!